What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video. It has been a long time, but we are back and we are here. I'm filming a bunch of stuff for you guys today. As you can see, the background is a little bit different. I'm going to be continuing to improve it, so don't worry. It's kind of messed up. But anyways, we're going to have fun. We're having tons of fun talking Leafs hockey. So if you're new here, make sure to like this video and subscribe. Join the squad. I'd love to have you guys here. We're talking a little trades today, and you guys know I love to talk about trades. And the Maple Leafs have had an interesting offseason where it's almost been the tale of two off seasons where they were really busy making moves. It seemed like they were really trying to reshape the forward group, and now it's quiet down, and there's still some holes. Now, clearly, still the biggest hole is that Mitch Marner is no longer on the Maple Leafs. He's signed with the Vegas Golden Knights. We've covered all of that. Nick Waugh is on the team now, but there's some obvious holes still on this roster. And if we're looking at daily faceoff and their line combinations, this is kind of what it's looking like right now. And this is not to say that this is exactly what's going to happen, but this is kind of what it's looking like right now. The D pairings and the goaltending, not as important in this video because it's more than likely going to be staying relatively the same as what it was last year. But as you can see, obviously no more Mitch Marner here. They have Michelli here, but he's more than likely going to be on the second line. Domi is probably going to get a look on that first line. You have new additions like Dakota Joshua, Nick Waugh. Obviously, I mentioned before, Michelli is there. We've got Lawton for a full season. Lorentz is back. There's a whole lot going on here. Nick Robertson also involved in the mix. Guys like David Kampf still in the mix as well. There's a good, healthy competition. Could Easton Cowan make his way up the lineup? I have no idea. I honestly don't think so, but hey, that would be a welcome surprise. But here is the biggest thing that I think the Maple Leafs could do to shape up this roster, and that's make a big splash, a big trade. And I know everybody always goes, oh, GM mode, and everybody always wants the big trade and this, that, and the other. But hear me out. There's a team that makes too much sense for the Maple Leafs to work with, and I think a lot of people, a lot of insiders specifically, have linked the Maple Leafs to this team, and that's the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, there's a couple things that could be standing in the way of that, and one of them is Kyle Dubas. Now, let me just say this. Whether or not you like or hate Kyle Dubas, the guy is still running a business. He's still running a team, and I think he will work with the Maple Leafs if there were to be a trade, because I think there's a lot of pieces that could entice him. But he recently also said that he still wishes the best for the Maple Leafs, and like he was speaking very highly of Austin Matthews. And guys, I'll be completely honest with you, I've met Kyle Dubas in person. He's a really nice guy. Okay, let's take away the GM stuff and whatever, and I know that's hard for some people, but he's still a human being. Whether or not I like or dislike somebody in a business, I have to sometimes separate who they are off the ice. And Kyle Dubas apparently is a really good dude from all the stories I've heard, and I've met him. He was a nice guy to me. So again, no hard feelings when it comes to whatever went on with the Maple Leafs. But they have two really interesting pieces on the Pittsburgh Penguins that could be sold off and traded for quite a lot. And the first one is Bryan Rust. Now, I don't want to hear any of these videos playing, no offense to these people, but this is on Puckpedia. Bryan Rust, 33 years old, year 4 of 6 in a $5.1 million deal. Now, this is obviously a guy that would make this Maple Leafs team a whole lot better. And if you can see his numbers from last year, 31 goals, 34 assists for 65 points. And in the years previous, 28 goals, 20 goals, 24, 22, 27. The guy scores, and the Maple Leafs need goal scoring, and Mitch Marner could score goals, and he scored at a decent clip in his time with the Maple Leafs. But I feel like Bryan Rust is that special type of scorer that if he plays with a guy that can feed him the puck, he's going to score a ton of goals. Now, whether or not where he would fit on the Leafs team, he would probably start on the first line, but he would be a massive addition. And another guy that would make a ton of sense is another guy that could be sold off, and that's Ricard Rakell. And this is a guy that's kind of reshaped himself a little bit. 32 years old, year 4 of 6 of his deal. also in the $5 million range. And if we look at his numbers, 35 goals last year and 35 assists, a significant upgrade over the year before. He had 15 goals, and then the year before that he had 28. So he's been kind of hot and cold his whole career. In Anaheim, he was dynamite when he was really young. He was scoring in the 30-goal range as well, but he got really cold, and then he went to Pittsburgh, and it looked like it was coming back a little bit, and then he really got it back. And last season, he proved that he can still put the puck in the net and be a 30-goal guy. Now, what would Pittsburgh be looking for? What would they want? And apparently they want young forwards, which, I mean, any team would. Young, cost-controllable forwards that can make the team better. Now, I'm going to show you guys, and I'm sure I'm going to take a lot of heat for this. I'm going to show you guys a trade that I think could be a centerpiece, or maybe I'm giving up too much. Maybe I'm not giving up enough. You guys are going to decide, and I know there's a lot of Leaf fans on this channel. I'm not saying that this is a trade package that makes all the sense. I'm saying this kind of works around what the Maple Leafs could offer. Now, am I going to give up Easton Cowan for Bryan Rust? No, because that's, in my opinion, an overpayment, and some people will disagree with that. Would I give up Easton Cowan if a Ricard Rakell and Bryan Rust package was built with Easton Cowan plus as a center package? Okay, I could deal with that. But let's look at what I was kind of looking at here. Let's say it's for Bryan Rust. Bobby McMann, Nick Robertson, Artur, and I don't want to butcher the last name, but he's a really good goaltender, AA in net, a second-round pick, and a first-round pick in 2028. Now, the reason why I have these guys in the deal, first of all, let's look at the goaltender AA Artur here. This guy is actually an underrated prospect in the Leafs system. Now, he's only 23 years old, and goaltenders always take a little bit longer to develop. But if you look at his numbers, this guy has been absolutely incredible his entire career, including with the Marlies actually having a decent start to his pro career. 26 starts, 281 goals against, and a 901 save percentage. But if you look at his time in the KHL, the VHL, MHL, this guy has had unbelievable numbers. He's putting up like high 930s, 940s, 920s in the save percentage range, and he's in the 1s and 2s for goals against. This one game outlier, I mean, you can't really count one game. It's just one game. He had a bad game. But if you look at his numbers, he's been unbelievable. And if you're looking to add a sweetener to a trade, this is a very good goaltender prospect. Next, I have Bobby McMann. The reason why, he's 29 years old and he's shown flashes of greatness in terms of being a depth scorer. 15 goals and then 20 goals last season. If you want to have a guy that you think can score 15 to 20 every single year, that's the guy you have. And then Nick Robertson, who's only 23 years old. I keep telling people that we shouldn't be giving up on him, but if you're getting a guy like Bryan Rust, I think it makes a lot of sense. 14 goals, then 15 goals, but again, he's doing this in limited time. If he plays a full 82, he's scoring 20 plus, and if he's actually getting more minutes, he's probably scoring 20 plus. I still believe, and I'll die on this hill, I think Nick Robertson's going to have a 30-goal season very soon. People don't agree with me. Honestly, it's just a take of mine. I think Robertson's a guy that Leaf fans will probably regret giving up, but he's not Bryan Rust right now. And these are all pieces that I believe could be interesting to the Penguins. Now, maybe they go, yeah, we like all these guys, but for Ricard Rakell, that's too much, in my opinion, to give up for Rakell. He's getting older. He's kind of hot and cold. I don't know if that's enough to get Bryan Rust. In my opinion, I think it is. But again, I'm a Leaf fan. But a first and a second plus 3 good players, one depth player, another depth player that could potentially be a really good second line goal scorer for you, or even first, depending on how high you think his ceiling is, and a goalie prospect that could be a really good 1A, 1B type starter for you in the future if he truly pans out the way that some people believe he will. It's a lot, but is it enough? And that's kind of where I turn it over to you guys. Maybe I'm smoking crazy stuff, and this is not even close to enough for a guy like Bryan Rust. Maybe you take Nick Robertson and the first out of there, and it's Easton Cowan that goes the other way. Personally, that's too much because I think it's risky for the Leafs. But again, there's always two sides to it. I know I'm going to get crushed in the comments. I usually do when I come up with my own trade packages, but you guys have been asking me to do that. So I'm trying my best here. I don't know if that makes total sense, but it's something to think about. The Leafs and Penguins just seem like perfect trade partners right now. So let me know what you guys think. If you are new here, make sure to like this video and subscribe. Join the squad. I'd love to hear from you guys. Comment down below. Could the Leafs make a trade with the Penguins? Does this make sense? I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Peace.